Welcome, everybody, to the Final Fantasy IX podcast. We are live on my Twitch. I am Brooklyn Zed, aka Hard Rock Hope, if you're watching us live on Twitch, which you could be if you go follow me at twitch.tv/Hard Rock Hope. I am here with my co-host making his debut on the channel, apparently, Adam H. Adam, how's it going? How are you?
Wow, I'm doing so good. 2 years it took, Zed. 2 stinking years. How many games of Final Fantasy did I have to play just to get here on your Twitch channel, which of course is twitch.tv/Hard Rock Hope. If you're not if you're not seeing us live, you're really missing out, because this is going to be a wild time. Those of you can see my legal pads that I use.
Oh boy, the
I have-
notes
I have
in
all
person.
kinds of legal pads actually that I use for all. I'm a big legal pad guy. I think I've said this before, but I have so many notes over this game. You can see the alternative notes that I have on my other monitor that I'll occasionally look at over here. But you get to see it all live here. Twitch.tv/Hard Rock Hope took 2 years, and of course we have to start this off. Said congratulations on 2 years of streaming.
Thank you so much. It's a very exciting time. If you missed it earlier today, at the time that we are recording this, we started our annual Final Fantasy VII playthrough. This year, we are doing Oops All Comrades. Everyone is named Comrade except for Tifa, who is Antifa. It's very confusing. It's very silly. And we're having a lot of fun.
Okay, so we love that. How far did you get in Final Fantasy VII? Are you done? Did you already get through it?
No, so I played for about 4 hours today before we are recording the podcast, and I made it up into Shinra Tower. Not all the way to the top yet, but through all the Midgar stuff, really.
Okay, so
we're about
really,
to peace out and
you're about
head
to
out.
peace out. You're about to go to Chocobo Farms or wherever it is. I think is where you're headed next, and encountering that snake that killed me that one time. Okay, so really not that far. Feels like maybe you could have gotten a little further, Zed. I don't know. How many times have you played through this game?
Probably this might be 5.
Oh my god!
I would guess this is around 5. But to be fair,
that's so many.
The first time that I played it, Josh was like, "Yeah, the first 5 hours of the game," and the first 5 hours of the game took me 8 hours. This time, I think I'm going to actually finish the first 5 hours of the game in 5 hours.
And to be clear, I think the first 5 hours that you're talking about took me 2 weeks to play. So I think just in terms of our ratios here, that being said, I feel like I am flying through Final Fantasy IX.
Ooh, great.
That might not actually be the case, and it could just be the fact that we're going to a million different locations. We're just going absolutely everywhere, and maybe we're not actually spending that long in any one place, and we're just checking boxes of like, go here, then go here, then go here, then go here. But I feel like
the itinerary.
I feel like I've been roaming around. Freaking, I'm in the Travelocity roaming Pia here. Like we are all over the place, and I have Zed 3 pages of notes for this section. Now, admittedly, this has been a truncated session for me. We just recorded like 3 days ago. So, usually I have a full week, and, between you and me, usually it is the last day and a half of that full week. During which I play most of the time. And a big part of that is like where the weekend falls and where I have my free time. And it's part of why we record when we record. Anyway, that's a separate situation. But I have been busting the past couple of days, absolutely putting my booty in gear. And I feel like I've made some significant progress. Excited to talk about it, and excited to do it live on, again, twitch.tv/Hard Rock Hope. If you want to see us live, can people watch this after the fact? Like if they want to go back and look at old videos of you, Zed, are they able to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you are just listening to this in the podcast feed, which is totally fine, I'm not sure when it's dropping, but we are recording early on a Monday, November 20th, my 2-year Twitch anniversary, because we do have the Thanksgiving holiday or observance time when people gather happening this week. So I think Adam's doing some traveling. I am seeing some people here in the city. So we chose to record early. And fortunately, that works out for us to record today during the anniversary. So that's what we're doing. You can find this video on my Twitch for the next couple weeks, which we've mentioned several times. And then after that, along with all the past live records I've done with Josh and anything else that I've streamed, you can find those things over at youtube.com/@hardrockhope, or just search Hard Rock Hope. You'll find me. All those links are in all my bios, anywhere you can find me. It's not that hard. That's where you'll find my playthrough of Final Fantasy IX, which I am constantly watching for reference in the background as we're talking. Because the difference when you and I are talking is that I have played this game, but I've played it once. When I'm going through these games with Josh, he's played them all several times. So even if he hasn't played it recently, I feel like he has these stories so much better memorized than I do. Whereas up until I think this week is the first week I came back after playing Final Fantasy 16. But all these previous weeks, we've been talking about things that I played one time in June. And once again, it is now November. So we are on the other side of the big Final Fantasy 16 hiatus in my playthrough. So my memory is a little better, but I still have only played this game really once. So I'm doing my best to keep up with everything that's going on here as we're talking. Oh yes, as Rand in the chat says, it's pronounced Iatus. My Final Fantasy 16 Iatus from Final Fantasy 9.
You're telling me that Josh Wiggler has played through Final Fantasy IX multiple times? Is that what I'm hearing?
I would think so. I think he's
Really?
played Final Fantasy 8 multiple times, and he doesn't even like Final Fantasy 8.
Okay. I mean, Pop Off. I'm trying to think of like what that equivalent is for me. Of like, maybe it's just like specific books or movies, I guess, that I've seen a lot. Like Clue. Like I've seen Clue probably like 100 times, if not more. But I guess I just don't have like a game equivalent. But I don't know. Maybe that's a different people. Maybe it will be Final Fantasy IX. Maybe I'll just keep playing this over and over again. Who knows?
Maybe.
Probably not.
Could be.
Probably not. Unless we get a lot more Steiner pretty quick. Because I'll tell you what wasn't here this week. Freaking Steiner. We abandoned him last week, and he just did not make a reappearance, which is very unfortunate. But anyway, okay, I'm excited to get into this. There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, so let's talk through where we left off at Pinnacle, or as you pronounced it, Pinnacle Rocks.
Yeah, Pinnacle Rocks.
When last we left our heroes.
When last we left our heroes, it was story time. Okay, so big Eidolon situation happening here. So we're talking with old dude, okay, Ramu, and he's like, I've hidden a story throughout these couple of screens that are very difficult to navigate between for some reason. Go collect them and then order my story in the correct order. I just whatever. Order the story and tell me the story that I have scattered, that I put in the wrong order. And if you do that, I will be your Eidolon. Go. Search my stories. That
I want to be your Eidolon.
I want to be your Eidolon. American Eidolon is
name of the episode. It's done. It's done. I'm writing it down.
Okay, so we are going to go around in like this little, there's like a river. It's like a stream situation. Hey, we're at a stream right now, and we have to find these different parts of the story, and we have to order them. And I looked up, because I was basically not comprehending this as it was happening in real time, because it was just telling me, here's a thing, and I don't know, I just couldn't like comprehend it. But the order, and I pulled this up because I think that this is worth doing a dramatic reading.
Oh, okay.
Of the story that we are told by Ramu, that goes in this order, which, by the way, I got correct on my first try. Just
nice.
By the way. So the first section is entitled Beginning, which is, pretty easy to order if that is our activity here. And we'll do this in like a quasi Ramu voice,
Yes.
Which I don't really know what it is because they don't have voices in this game, but it's fine. Once upon a time, 33 small countries fought together against an empire. One day, a rebel troop visited a man named Joseph, who lived with his daughter. Owing a debt to the troop, he gladly accepted their plea for help. They headed for a cavern in the snow field. Weird start to the story. Like a weird opening. We have Joseph, we have a rebel troop, 33 small countries, and he owes a debt to kind of a weird.
Something very biblical about a Joseph and the
Yeah.
number 33, right?
Yes, absolutely. Like 100%. Yeah. Like okay. Next up in our story, cooperation. So we had beginning and then we have cooperation. We have to work together before we can do anything. With Joseph's help, the troop defeated the Adamantoise in the Snowfield Cavern and acquired the goddess bell they needed to enter the Empire's castle. Couple things there. Adamantoise, that's the turtle thing, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That is really
it's
annoying.
like a tortoise, but it's adamantus.
Yeah.
That's how tortoise is spelled.
Oh, well, but
otherwise we'd pronounce it tortoise.
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 I do think we should pronounce it tortoise. I really do like that. So we have the adamantus, the turtle thing, very annoying to fight every time that they've ever been there. Okay, and then we have a classic Final Fantasy IX goddess bell, because we all know in this world the only way to open doors is by absolutely smashing a bell and destroying that thing. That will open that door right up. Okay, cooperation. Then part 3, silence. On their way home, they fell into a trap set by a traitor. Joseph gave his life to save the troop. The troop left without telling Joseph's daughter, Nellie, about the tragedy.
Nellie.
We get Nellie here is the daughter. The daughter's name does not make an appearance until part 3 of the story, so that's kind of interesting, but whatever. And Joseph putting it all on the line. He gave his life to save the whole troop. Huge. And then we finish our story with human. The fact that they didn't report Joseph's death to his daughter was indicative of their guilt for failing to protect him. In the end, heroes are also human. What do you mean? Who's the hero of this? Who is the hero of this story? Is it Nellie? Nellie's the one is it Joseph? I guess he's the hero, but
he's the Jesus.
But then it says, okay, the fact that they didn't report Joseph's death to his daughter was indicative of their guilt for failing to protect him. In the end, the heroes are also human. Okay, this makes no sense to me. Whatever. This is Ramu hiding a rando story. Now, there was another alternative ending, a choose your own adventure, if you will, because he threw in a little twist. He was like, collect these 5 pieces of my story. But then at the end, he's like, oh, no. Pick 4. Pick your best 4. One of these does not fit. One of these things is not like the other. And it was hero, which I do have here. Although Joseph's death was not reported to his daughter, the manner of his death speaks for itself. This is the story of a true hero. What do you mean? It speaks for itself. Like, okay, this made no sense to me.
Sacrifice? ?
But like then,
yeah, unclear. It's not a good. No one said it was a good story.
Ramu is eating this up for breakfast. He's like, "Oh my god, you told me this story. I am yours forever. You own me. I will be your eidolon." And congrats, Dagger, I guess. Dagger gets her own little eidolon here, and it is Ramu. Okay. By the way, in terms of this legal pad that people who are watching live can see, this is bullet 1. And all it says is story time with Ramu. And I have 3 pages of this. So just to be clear on what's happening here. Okay. So we get Ramu. Congratulations. We're heading out of this little stream situation, this little kind of nestle in the woods because our bug went too far, and we're just trying to get back. Okay, let's go to Lindblom. Back to Lindblom. We were there before. We spent some time there before, and we're getting back. But of course, just as we approach it gets wrecked. It gets absolutely destroyed. LeBron James comes in and is like, "Wahaha!" I did like this. They did like a little cutaway, like what's a little cutscene or whatever, and it just shows her laughing hysterically as the whole city gets absolutely blown up, except for the parts of it where we can still walk, and part of it is still fine, but we, are heading back there, and okay, we're trying to find Sid, who is, well, we're trying to find Doc Tot is really the situation because that's who we were told to go find, but Sid will have to do in this case because that's like who's there. So we're walking around Limblin a little bit. We go find Sid. We say, "Oh, hey, Sid, what's up?" And then, "Hi, it's nice to see you. We're kind of screwed. We need some help. Bad things are happening, like really, really bad things." He's like, "Oh yeah, I know. Our city just got destroyed and I surrendered basically so they can have everything." And then one of my favorite parts of this whole session happens. Two of the guards walk in and they're like, "We got a live one! We got a live one here!" And they bring out Vivi. And it's like, okay, obviously this little 9-year-old is not like an actual bad black mage, but I just love this, especially the phrasing of "we got a live one." That's word for word what the guard says. I love it so much. Vivi comes in and got captured mistakenly because there's like a ton of black mages all over Lindblom that just got wrecked. Okay, Sid is going to fill us in.
Never mind the fact that Vivi is like half the size of all the black mages that are causing all the problems.
It's not a completely different look, but it's a completely different look. Like he is like noticeably not the same as all the other black mages, which are noticeably the same, which we'll get to in a little bit, I guess. Sid fills us in on some information. He's like, "Kuja, Kuja? You know that guy, Kuja? Kuja? He's a weapons dealer. He deals in weapons. And do you know where he operates? You know where all of this is stemming from? The outer continent." And
dun, dun, dun.
Outer continent in blue text. It's the outer continent is where this is happening. Do you know where it is, Pia? The outer continent. And of course, we're like, well, how do we get there? How do we get to the outer continent? And he's like, "Kuja is in the outer continent. You have to get to the outer continent." And we're like, "Okay, cool. How do we get there?" He asks for like the 5th time consecutively before we finally get any kind of answers. Well, it's a couple ways. Let's just take the ship. I mean, you have all these fancy ships here in Lindblom. No, we can't take the ships. They took almost all of our ships. Well, what about this new fancy ship that you were talking about earlier? It's like a whole new, it's a brand new ship that they set up earlier in the game that we could hypothetically utilize. No. We can't use that one because LeBron James took it. Well, but it's a whole new ship. You just set this whole thing up with no technology. And like you said before, the outer continent has no mist. So we could use this perfectly capable ship that you created earlier in this game that doesn't need mist to get to the outer continent.
That's the key factor, yeah.
Doesn't need mist. It's a perfect situation that you seeded earlier when we were here for the first time. Let's use this. No. We can't use that. So what you have to do is you have to get back down underground with the bugs and start riding the bugs. And you have to go to the swamp. And then the swamp will get you to the outer continent. That's what you can do. And I'm not even sure it'll work. LMAO, like maybe it'll work. Who knows?
I think that somebody says, "Hey, but not knowing is half the fun, right?"
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a blast. It's so good.
There's no stakes. It's not. We don't have anything important to be doing right now.
No, definitely not. There's nothing else going on at the moment. We have tons of time. So head to the outer continent via the swamp, and the swamp is in the marsh, and there's frogs in the marsh, and there's that's the situation. Head to the swamp, and then you'll figure it out. Good luck. We'll be seeing you. You can get down, no problem. I'm going to distract the all of the scantily clad women guards who are running around, butts out, just, and that's, you know, I'll take care of them. Don't you worry about that. Quack quack. And I will take care of them. You go to the outer continent to deal with Kuja.
Kuja.
Great. Let's go. We get out of here. We're out. We're back on the world map. We get down. There's a couple cutscenes of the guards being distracted. We get out. Let's get out of Little Bloom. We're done. We go over to Quina's marsh, and we're like, "Hey, Quina, what's up? How'd you get here?" And they're like, "I just got here. It was hard, but I did it off screen, so here I am." And we pick up Quina, and then we start running off. We're in the swamp. We're trying to find the swamp is what's happening. And Quina's like, I smell frogs. I smell these frogs and they're smelling good. So we follow Quina, and lucky us, Quina leads us right to the entrance of this excavation site in the swamp that will take us to the outer continent. Good for us. We get down there into this excavation site, and what should we find but robots? For some reason, there's a robot down there.
The cleaners.
This made no sense to me. I was running along this excavation site where there were swinging axes for some reason. Who set this up? Who set up, like, it's not even like this is an evil layer of some kind. This is just
it has labyrinth vibes. Like I
understand that it has labyrinth vibes, but like why? Like,
no, I know it doesn't make sense, but that's what I'm saying is this robot thing that starts chasing you where you have to dodge the swinging axes reminds me of the cleaners in Labyrinth, which come out of Jareth, played by David Bowie, throwing the crystal and it turning into a robot thing that chases them down a tunnel.
This made no sense to me. All this was, it just seemed like they had a lot of robot graphics from other Final Fantasy games, and they were like, you know what? Can we please use one of our things? Like, this was a dime a dozen in Final Fantasy VII. Every time you would look, there was a different big robot thing with drill arms that was trying to hit you.
Sure.
Whatever. So we're doing this. We're dodging axes. I had to fight the robot thing. Like, I'll just, whatever. I didn't know. First of all, I didn't really know there was like a time crunch with this. Like, I saw it following me, but I was like, okay, this is just like a graphic. Like, I'm not going to have to fight this. It turns out you can evade it on, or you can fight it on one screen and kill it, and then go to the next screen with more swinging axes, and it'll be right behind you again. Only for you to fight it multiple times and kill it multiple times. Now, the good news is, I think it gave a lot of XP, so that that was fine, and it wasn't particularly difficult to kill, but it was just kind of annoying to have to do it again. Okay. We're still in our excavation site. This is technically Fossil Rue.
Yes.
I don't know what Rue is in. It's got to be something in some language that means something, because before we had, what was the other Rue?
Gargan Rue, which is where the Gargans are.
Yeah, we had Gargan Rue. Now we have Fossil Rue. So I don't know if Rue is some kind. It's got to be something. And we are out of the robot situation.
Maybe it's a tunnel.
Maybe they're both underground,
like Gargant tunnels and fossil tunnels.
Yeah, we didn't see a lot of fossils, at least not yet. I guess we're getting, we'll get there with the mining stuff. But as we are leaving this kind of introductory area down into this maze that's going to happen here, we encounter Lonnie, new Beatrix. Basically, is what's happening here. We have
a little Robin Hood hat.
Yeah, we have a new person who is doing whatever LeBron James is indicating. It's just like, hey, go get these people. This is the bounty hunter that I believe we talked about a little bit previously. Like, hey, I need that stone back from you. You stole the stone and I need it back. And we're like, no, not going to do that. And then we start fighting, and in classic fashion, the fight just randomly ends when she's done. She's like, I've okay, you got me this one time, I guess. Like, oh, you little rascals. And she's like, okay, I'll leave you alone. And I'm like, why are we not fighting to the death? Like, either you're not committed or we're not committed, and I'm committed. So, like, either we're doing this thing or we're not. And she wasn't doing this thing. So then she leaves, probably for us to only encounter her later. But I didn't see her again this time, which is a nice change of pace from the Beatrix stuff, because I literally fought her like 3 times last time. So
Mm-hmm.
Lonnie just lets us go. Cool. Cool. And we get further into this, into Fossil Rue, and we begin our process here. And this is a mess for me, emotionally and logically, because I spent way too long trying to navigate these tunnels. So we encountered like a treasure hunter who was basically like, yeah, I'm going to explain to you how this works. Kind of, there's a bunch of rando switches that you have full access to for some reason, and you can just press them however you want. You can just pull switches and levers, and if you do, it's going to affect all of our plumbing. But that's it. It's only going to affect the water. Okay. It's only going to affect the water. And those bugs that you've been hitching rides on all the time hate water. They hate water. And so they'll go the other way. So
Yeah. It's a railroad mechanism.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, this is the trains all over.
This is our insect railroad.
Yeah, it really is. And then once you pull levers, you hold up these cute little flowers, and they'll come chomp them, and you can just hop on and take a one-way trip to the next location where you can pull more levers and do the thing again. There's like 4 different levers and all kinds of paths here, and you had to like go pull one and then go back on it and then go to the other thing and then pull another one, or then go back and go like the other. This was just a mess for me. I ended up in the same place like multiple times. And then there was one where you like encounter another treasure hunter, and then I didn't realize that on that map there was a staircase going up at that point, and so I like went back because I was like, oh, a dead end. This is so annoying. So it was a mess. I took way too long doing this, and it was not enjoyable at all. This was probably the worst part of the playthrough.
So I can't remember if I think I've told this story on the podcast before, but when I did play this game, many, many years ago, when my friend was like, this is my favorite video game, you have to play it. And he lent me his copy of Final Fantasy IX and his PlayStation. End of console name, PlayStation, the portable DVD player that was a PlayStation. I played it and then was like, oh, I can play this on my roommate's PS2. You can have your PlayStation back. And I gave it back to him. And by then I had finished disc 1. So I gave it back to him with disc 1 in it. And then I ended up keeping the rest of the game. We just like fell out of contact. And so I still had it, but I could never play it from the beginning again because I didn't have disc 1. And I had a save file that was the earliest save file I could find was saved here. And I loaded it up one day and I was like, oh, there's no way I'm getting out of here. I don't like, it's impossible to navigate.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't play any save file that started on disc 1 or was saved anywhere in disc 1. So I had to start further into the game. And this is like the worst place to possibly do it because it's so confusing, even when you know where you came from in the first place.
It's painful. I was like back and forth all over the place, and it was never like intuitive. At least to me, like I could never be like, oh, no,
100%. I use a walkthrough for this part, because I just get so frustrated and bored if I'm going in circles, not understanding what I'm supposed to do. Yeah. That's not what I'm here for. I'm happy to solve a puzzle if it's actually a puzzle and not just go switch a thing and hope for the best. And you can't really tell what direction you're supposed to ultimately be trying to go. And you might miss out on some stuff if you don't switch certain switches. And I want to get all of the treasure chests and whatever. Yeah. So
I got all the treasure chests. Let me tell you,
that's the kind of thing I'll use a walkthrough for sure.
I went through every nook and cranny of this place. Okay, so we keep riding on bugs all over the place. We get way too comfortable riding back and forth on these bugs. Okay, so then we end up doing some mining as well. One of the treasure hunters is like, "Hey, if you give me a potion, I'll let you mine in this place." And it's like, I mean, I guess, but like also
Such a
I could
bullshit
like
little mini game.
yeah. And so I started mining a little bit. I found one of the Koopos. So
Yes,
what's up?
You freed a Moogle.
Yeah. Go, love that for him.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Then I was like, this is dumb. So I just got out of there.
Because you just stand there going tap, 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 tap,
Yeah.
tap, tap, tap. And it's like, all right,
Well,
well,
it was
how
like
long are
on
we going to
the
do this?
yeah, it was like on the third one that it started saying "coup," and I was like, okay, so there's clearly something here. But then I had to do it again, like 7 or 8 times.
Yeah.
Which I know, like I wouldn't even have normally done if it didn't like give me the indication early on. Because I mean, everyone knows me; I'm not willing to sit
Yeah.
there
Well,
for
and if
that
I'm
long.
not going to find stuff like every other time, I'm not standing here all day to get some stuff that I could probably afford to buy
Yeah. Oh
because you
yeah.
rack up money pretty quickly in this game.
Oh yeah. I mean, if it would have made me sit there for like 5 minutes to give me like a soft or something like that, like
Yeah.
I would have been not happy. Um. Okay, so we get out of there, and guess where we are? The outer continent.
Dun,
It
dun,
it
dun.
worked. We did it. We did the thing. We got to the outer the continent. That's so exciting. Okay. We're at the outer continent, and immediately we're like looking around. We have some rando fights on the outside. Some of them are a little difficult. There was one that like shot me with a bunch of needles, like this little needle pickle. That just like
Needle pickle?
yeah, that just like absolutely eviscerated me with needles, but gave a ton of
The
XP. So
cactus?
yeah, needle pickle.
Yeah,
Cacti are
well,
kind of needle
it's
pickles.
called a cactuar,
Oh, I don't
and they exist across.
cactuas.
They exist across Final Fantasy.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Well,
but I am gonna always call it a
it's
needle
a
pickle
needle
now.
pickle. I think there's some other random stuff too. But then we find a bridge, and we're kind of okay. So there's going to be a couple points during this outer continent stint that I've been on that I'm like, what are we doing here? Because I don't really understand what's happening. We were told that the black mages are kind of coming from the outer continent, and Kuja is using that as like a weapons, whatever situation. Okay,
Mhm.
that is going to make no sense here. And when we get to some weird stuff that happens a little bit later, in my mind, I'm like, what are we doing here? We get to the bridge, and I do love this moment. We're getting onto this bridge that's like to a little settlement that's going on here, and Quina runs off and is like, "Yummy, yummy, hungry! I'm so hungry!" And Pia gets so upset and is like, "Are all you think about is eating, Quina?" And oh my god,
It's how I learn.
it's this response from Dagger. All you think about, Pia, is
It's
girls.
girl.
Got him. Bam, 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 bam.
Ooh,
Get
burn.
roasted, Pia. All you do think about is girls. It's so true. Okay. And we enter this place, and everyone is like, rally ho, rally ho, rally ho, rally ho.
Mhm.
And then the whole group, except for Pia, is like, oh, rally ho, nice to meet you. It's great that you're here. And Pia's like, I'm not saying that stupid thing. And they're like, everyone can enter, rally ho, except for you, Pia. You didn't say rally ho. And Pia's like,
Are you
well,
gonna be
I don't.
cool?
Are you gonna do it? You better say it. You better say rally ho. And Pia's like, rally ho. I guess I'll say it. Pia's a little twerp.
Uh-huh.
Emphasis on like little, because I think that he's like, I'm starting to question his age a little bit. Like, is he 10? Maybe 11? There's so
He's
everyone in the
16.
this is gonna get so weird later. Okay. I mean, it's already weird, but it's gonna get even
Uh-huh.
weirder. It's gonna get okay. I was really honestly hoping you would say a younger number. Okay. Whatever. We'll get there. Rally ho. And we're going around this little place, and everyone is a little weird, but it's not even as weird as it's gonna get. We find a black mage doing some business with the local shopkeeper, and then we're like, hey, who are you? And then they run away, and we're like, oh, we can't catch him, we gotta follow. And where did it go? The southeast forest is where it went. Wait a minute, what direction did it go? Southeast, it says in blue text. I just love when they do that. we have to go to the southeast forest. We have to get out of this place of the name I still don't really know. Something
Conda petty,
Kinda
something like
petty.
that.
I'm kind of petty.
Kinda petty.
I'm kind of petty. Okay, so we have to get out of there. We have to go to
You
this
got to go to the southeast forest.
southeast forest. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, they did talk. They did talk weird too. I don't
They
know
live
what kind of
side deep in the
accent.
forest.
I don't know what kind of accent it's supposed to be, but I feel like I probably should not attempt it for a lot of reasons. Okay, so we go further south, go to the southeast. We kind of have to like go around the cliff a little bit. We have to go like north to get south, but whatever. And I'm on page 2, by the way, of the legal pad. So we're cooking.
If you're following along at home.
Oh yeah, we're making moves here. Okay, so we get down and we get into this forest where there is a fork in the road, and I took the road less traveled by owls. That's what I took. Sometimes it was to the right and sometimes it was to the left, but I will be damned if I follow a single owl down these paths. Could not be interested in the owls. Why? I don't know. There was not a reason for it, really. I just picked no owls the first time, and then one of the owls that was above the path flew away, and I was like, well, that seems good. And then I came back to the same place, and I was like, okay, well, this is what we're doing. I have to make the owls fly away. So I kept going down this path. I don't understand what this was or why this was, because
I think the guy who tells you to go to the forest says there's like a scary thing deep in the forest and nothing will go there. And that's how you're supposed to know to not go the direction that the owls go, because they wouldn't go in the direction of the Black Mage village.
Yeah. Okay. Just remember that once we leave this village, we don't have to do this again. We don't go out the same way that we came in, but we end up in the same place that we came in. So whatever this path was, maybe we were just tripping at this time. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Okay.
It does have some Wizard of Oz
It definitely,
vibes to
yeah,
it.
follow the yellow brick owl, or don't, I guess. And we get in, and we're in the Black Mage Village. And the first thing that happens when we get into the Black Mage Village is that we realize that there's a bunch of Black Mages here, and they're all like, oh, humans! They're humans! Wee woo, wee woo, wee woo. This is a problem. Bunch of humans are here. We're a little screwed. This is a real issue. And okay, so we're kind of going around. I do love some of these cutscenes with the Black Mages, because basically up to this point, outside of Vivi, of course, all of the Black Mages that we have interacted with were basically just like kill, kill, kill. There was no personality happening here. And boy, did we get some personality from some of these Black Mages who are just numbered, using random numbers that I didn't write down. My favorite one, the one that I will call out, the shopkeeper. I am obsessed with the shopkeeper because the active time event that we see with the shopkeeper is basically them being in the shop being like, man, I wonder what I would give someone if they came in and ordered the usual. Huh. What would I do? What are we supposed to do? What do we do when someone comes in and orders the usual? What do I give them? That's it. That's the whole active time event. And it does pay off because as Pia enters this establishment, we have the option of ordering the usual. Which the shopkeeper, we don't ever get anything from it, which is really unfortunate. But we were able to order the usual. And then I think we're like, I like climbed up behind the thing to get I don't even know. I like went in his bed after that. So I don't know what the usual is for him, but it might be the usual for Pia, I guess. Okay, so we keep going around. Basically, this is just a VV story. There's a few other things before we can get to the VV stuff here. Quina finds a chocobo egg that some of the Black Mages are like, we're gonna raise this as our own chocobo. We're gonna nurture this chocobo. And Quina's like, I am starving and you have a huge egg here. Are you kidding me? You're going to raise this egg? Eggs are for eating. And they don't
They're
get.
like, we're trying to find our humanity.
Quinna's like, I'm trying to find my dinner. And Quinna does not get the egg, unfortunately for Quinna. Okay, so we're wandering around, and Vivi leaves in the middle of the night. And I do, of course, Pia is immediately like, oh, Vivi's gone, Dagger. It's just us here. A little bit of a date night situation. Dagger's like, shut up. Not interested. Or am I in a little bit? We'll see. Vivi leaves and kind of has like an existential crisis for the first of not even the first, just for the first of a couple times that it's going to happen throughout the next couple. Vivi's had a tough couple of days.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how long this game is or the timeline of this. I mean, we've probably, because also like every time you tent, like they show overnight. So like I don't know if that's like, I don't know if I'm just adding days in here.
It's very
But
it's very amorphous because
yeah, it's
you could
quick.
ostensibly never sleep and just run forever and just
Yes.
keep healing manually as you go. And then what? Then days never pass. It's all one day.
Well, sometimes, and we'll get to this a little bit later, but sometimes they like are like, you should rest, and then we take the night, I guess.
Yeah,
But
I
like,
guess occasionally that happens. But
yeah, I think it also happened when we went to I think it was Lindblom actually the first time that we went to Lindblom and stayed at the inn, because then the innkeeper like ratted us out. I think it was Lindblom. I don't.
This whole storyline could take somewhere between like a week and several months.
Yes. Oh, it could easily. This could be like a full season. Anyway, okay, so we are Vivi is out having an existential crisis, talks with Black Mage number 269 or whatever, I don't know, and is like, what are we doing in the cemetery? Who's buried here? And the Black Mage is like, other Black Mages, when we stop. And Vivi's like, what do you mean when we stop? Am I gonna die one day? Am I gonna die? And the Black Mage is like, I mean, yeah, probably. Like that's gonna happen. And Vivi's like, oh my god, if I'm gonna die, why would I even live? What's the point? What's going on here? Why? Vivi's really having a tough existential crisis here for not the first nor the last time.
You ever think about dying?
This is tough. Were you ever like this as a 9-year-old Zed? Were you ever like, am I gonna die one day?
I mean, honestly, probably.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely was too. I like very vividly remember. I don't know exactly how old I was, but I was so young, and I just like got out of bed one night and like woke up both of my parents and was like, "What happens after I die?"
Yeah.
And so yeah, I don't remember how they handled that, but I don't know. Whatever. Vivi's going through it. Vivi's like really in it, and of course is like also struggling with identity, because everywhere Vivi goes, they're like, hey, you're evil, we're gonna capture you. Like that's probably not good and does not help with the identity crisis being experienced by Vivi in these moments. So okay, we're Vivi's having a little bit of a moment, but great. We're going back to Pia. And Quinna just ran off to find some frogs in the forest or whatever. But that's a classic Quinna situation. Pia is telling a story to Dagger of an abusive father and like trying to find home. And it's a very okay. This was weird to me for a lot of reasons. Number one, is this just about Pia? Like, does Pia not know his like father or his origin or like where his home is? Like, is that what we're supposed to get here? Number two, the abusiveness of the father was treated in a very weird way, because Pia's telling the story of just like, and that abuse was home to me, and I like really like I loved like it was such a weird like moment here, and I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to make of this, but I do not like it. This was not a good bedtime story. I would not want to be told this just before I fall asleep, and I would certainly not tell this to the girl that I'm trying to woo. There's no way that this would be the bedtime story that I'm telling. This was weird, Zad. This was so weird.
No, you're not wrong. Mysteries abound.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. It was just so weird to me. And then we were like, okay, we gotta go. We can't stay here forever. There's no way. But then Vivi's like, well, maybe I'm gonna stay here forever. But then he's like, no, I'm coming with you. And then Quinn is like, I'm coming too. How dare you almost forget me? And Pio's like, I was just trying to have some one-on-one time with Dagger. You always have to come in and get in there.
Gotta show up and make me tell my sad story.
My sad little depresso story. Okay, and then we basically realized that we have to get to the other side of Kind of Petty, and I don't really know why we have to get to the other side of it. There's some reason we have to get to some kind of path to lead us to something. I don't know. This is where I start getting just totally lost, because I thought we were trying to find where the black mages were so we could stop Kuja's enterprise. It seems like we kind of did that, but now we're leaving.
We found the black mages, but we haven't found Kuja. Or
well, yeah, but Kuja's not here. Kuja's
right.
in the mist place, in the inner continent. Well, we saw him, right? We
can travel.
Well, yeah. Why would he be over
silver
here?
Dragon.
If he can travel and he can be in both, then why are we over here trying to find him? Like, I thought the thing that was over here was the black mages, and we found those and basically did nothing about it. We did not do any kind of like, hey, are you guys going to be evil and go get transported over there and start killing people?
The ones in the village seem fine. They're running shops. They're hanging out in the fields, farming, waiting to stop
having these existential crises, figuring out what the usual is at their local market. I'm a little lost here in what we are trying to accomplish in the outer continent at this particular point. But I do know that in order to accomplish whatever that thing is, we have to get past Kind of Petty. And the only way that they're going to let us get past there into, I believe it's called the Sanctuary.
Yeah, you're trying to get to the Sanctuary, where you can find out more about the Eidolons and about Dagger's situation.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Whatever. The only way that we get there is by getting past the little dwarves of Kind of Petty. And the only way that they're going to let us get past there is if we perform the ancient ceremony of marriage. We have to get hitched. That's it. That's the situation. We have to get hitched. And
doesn't matter that we're 16 years old.
Nope. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that we're 9 years old. Nothing matters at this point other than the official ritual of this marriage. And Pia's like, all right, well, let's get hitched. And the Dagger's like, okay. And Pia's like, what? What do you mean, okay? You're on board for this? And Dagger's like,
for this. I mean, for this reason. This is not real.
And Pia's like, oh, you love me. You're obsessed with me. No, she's not, Pia.
We will do what we have to do to get where we need to go. Mm-hmm. This isn't real. This doesn't count for anything.
But we're gonna do it. We're gonna perform the ceremony, and they perform the ceremony.
Not here.
No. Pia's not interested in those kinds.
Not taking it in.
And afterwards, he's like, "Well, time for us to kiss." And
so we sure are married.
She just walks away, and he like splatters on the ground. It's very funny. But then, of course, Ed, we're a foursome here. We are not just the two. We're not just those two cute little kids running around. We have Vivi and Quinna with us. And Vivi's like, well, what should we do? How should we get across this? And we have the genius idea. Well, why don't you guys just get married too? Why not? What's wrong with that? What could possibly be the problem with you all getting married as well? Now, I will emphasize that throughout basically the entire wedding process, the courtship, if you will, of Pia and Dagger, there was so much emphasis put on, well, you can only do this between a boy and a girl because that's how we have to do this. That's how the ceremony works. And now we're suggesting this for Vivi and Quinna. So I guess like maybe pop off Kind of Petty in terms of
it's also supposed to only be for dwarves. And then they're like, you know what? We don't really have a lot of young people. A wedding's exciting. Let's just do it.
Yeah, we only have 99 couples, but y'all ain't one. So time to go get married. So everyone gets married. And then they're like, "Oh, okay, you can go here. You can go into the sanctuary, take the trek to the sanctuary." Now, just as a preface here, the sanctuary is so far away and no one ever goes there. So it is baffling to me why you need to have the ceremony completed in order to access the sanctuary, because it's not direct access. Okay, whatever. As we're leaving, there's a thief that is stealing things from Kinda Petty, and she just runs off in the same direction that we were not allowed to go until we completed the ceremony. We follow her because she gets away totally scot-free, because they're like, we're not going past that point. And I'm like, could we not have just slipped out? Why did we have to get married for this? Whatever. Pia wanted to get married. Also, during this, there's a lot of dialogue that's like, so we're married now. And Dagger's like, no, we're not. We're barely even friends. Like, I don't even really know you.
Just want to throw out there, by the way, that Vivi is 9.
Yeah.
And Quinna is 89. Great moment to have caught on video. If you are not watching us live, Adam's reaction to the age situation. I did not have them get married.
What was the other option?
Something about let's go see the twins. And you just skip it. You just keep going.
Okay,
you
well,
just don't do it.
I'm not gonna. I can't lie about this, because canonically in my game they got married. That happened.
Yeah.
So
they
I
did.
I don't know. It's not that, honestly said, is still not the weirdest thing that is going to happen in the next little bit of game here, which this is going to be a longer podcast than normal. Okay, great. So we're following this thief who is named Aiko. I do love when they let you name someone. It's like, oh, okay, you're probably going to be important in the game. Aiko. Welcome, Aiko. Cool name. In terms of the names of this game, Aiko is probably top 2. I think Vivi is close to that point, but I like Aiko.
My friend who lent me the game, his cats were named Vivi and Aiko.
Oh, is it Aiko or Aiko? I would not like Aiko. Has Ache in it.
You can say Aiko.
I'm gonna say Aiko.
They called the cat Aiko, but either way, it was named after the 6-year-old and the 9-year-old in this game.
That's the. Okay, we'll get.
I'm 6.
I'm only 9, and okay. We meet Aiko, who is an absolute thief. Also, Aiko has a very interesting relationship with Muggles. She just keeps one in her pocket that like spins around, and freaking Quinna is like, I'm gonna eat it. I am so hungry. They had a freaking chocobo egg back there that I didn't get one bite of. And I'm going to eat your Moogle.
I am overdue for a treat.
I need a sweet little treat. And your Moogle is what is on the menu. And the Moogle runs away, and so does Quinn. And I'm like, cool. Let's replace the party member that we need here so we can stay at the max of 4 as Aiko joins the party. Aiko, the white mage, love having 2 healers in the party. It is sublime. I almost don't even miss Steiner in terms of the fighting. Now, I miss Steiner in terms of the story. Can you even imagine the world where like Steiner and Quinna have to get married? Just imagine that world. I would love to see Steiner's reaction to this.
I feel like Steiner would be like, I'll marry the princess, and Zidane, you can marry Quinna.
Yeah. You think you're going to marry the princess, punk?
You nincompoop.
Oh my God. That'd be so funny. Okay. So Quinna's gone. Aiko's in. We're on the mountain path. Cool. We like collect some stones that we put in statues to get another stone, whatever. We see a giant tree in the distance, and Aiko's like, that is the sanctuary. That's where we're gonna kind of go. But before we go there, do you wanna get some dinner? I mean, are you hungry? Like, do you wanna get a little bite to eat? Do you wanna head back to my place? Do you wanna, before we do that though, we have to fight a big troll thing. There's a boss fight in here because we hadn't had a boss fight in a while since Lonnie, I guess. It was kind of annoying whenever they do like big earthquake type moves that damage everyone a lot. It's like annoying, but it was fine because the single target damage was not unhealable because we have two healers in the party, which is huge. I cannot emphasize enough how huge it is to have two healers. Always bring the healers. Love that. I really, really do love that. Also, Aiko, I mean, I noticed this in the fight, but we talk about it a little bit afterwards. Aiko has the ability to summon Eidolons.
Mm-hmm.
So good for Aiko. It is also at this point where Dagger lost the ability to summon Eidolons. I could not bring out Ramu. And I was furious about it because I did so much freaking work collecting that old man's stories and ordering them. I mean, does Joseph mean nothing to Ramu? Does Nelly
Did you
mean nothing?
equip the stone that allows you to summon him?
I don't know. Probably not. I mean, it's almost assuredly my fault, but that does not matter to me, Zed. Because
Yeah, so you'll pick up all these different gems, like a sapphire and a diamond and an emerald and whatever, and those various gemstones can go into your accessory slot, I think, and that's what will teach Dagger and Aiko the summons. And
but
so if you just have it equipped, they can use it, but if they don't learn it fully before you change what's equipped, then they won't be able to summon it all the
how do I
time.
know if they've learned it fully?
The little there's like a little diamond shape next to it, and it will be filled in if they've learned it, or if it's equipped it'll show you if you've learned it to 100%.
And they'll okay. So I mean, whatever. It was like almost assuredly my fault, but that does not matter to me. Also, they learn it from getting AP. That's the situation. More
Mm-hmm.
AP. Okay, not XP or leveling. It's just
Correct.
AP. Okay. Also, there are a few situations where I encounter random things that are like, I want ore, give me ore. And so I
Mm-hmm.
give them a little bit of ore and they give me a ton of AP. Like there was a
Mm-hmm.
ladybug that happened, and I was like, okay, this is random.
Yeah, there's a whole series of friendly monsters that if you run into in the correct order, each of them will give you the thing you need to give to the next one, and they'll all give you lots of AP and not hurt you.
Hmm. Okay, well, every time that's happened, I've just given some ore because I have like 20 ore. And so I don't know why I need that much ore. Okay, so instead of going to the tree, the IFA or LIFA, I don't know what I have written down here.
I think it's a double I because it's a capital I and then a lowercase I.
Okay, it looks like an L, but okay, IFA, the IFA tree. IFA tree. Instead of going there, we're going to go to Aiko's house because Aiko wants us to come have dinner and have a good time. Also, Aiko's in love with Pia. Let's
Yeah.
just say it. Let's just put it out there. Aiko is in love with Pia. And if you remember our discussion from not that long ago, Aiko is 6.
And Zidane is married.
Zidane is married
16 and married.
and 16, which already is a kind of a problem. Becomes more of a problem when this 6-year-old is an absolute simp for Pia. Like it gets pretty bad. Okay.
It is big, like, hey, Zidane, you want to come over for dinner? I mean, I guess your friends can come, but do you want to come over for dinner?
Yeah, it's all you. Like really, there's an obsession here. Also I'm on page 3 of notes, which is very exciting. The final page. And we're only an hour into this, so that's
We're doing great.
We're doing so good. We're at Aiko's house called Maiden Sari. I don't know, whatever. And it is the village of lost summoners. That'll be interesting in just a second, I guess. There are Koopos everywhere. Like everywhere you go, it is Koopo, 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 Koopo.
It's the best place.
I mean, I guess. Like, is this like this?
I love Moogles.
Yeah. Well, like, why? Just because they represent like your ability to save.
No, I loved Moogles before this game.
Okay.
I guess your own. So Moogles are like a standard, like part of Final Fantasy, but the only Moogle you've really encountered is the fake ass Kate Sith Moogle that is just a stuffed Moogle with a cat on top.
Yes. I mean,
But
it
Moogles
certainly was
are
real.
adorable. And they're
I mean,
great.
the only other experience that I have is a little bit in 14.
14.
Yeah. But even that, like, I don't think they were like, we had to fight King Moogle or
The King
whatever.
Moogle. Yeah, yeah,
And it was a
yeah.
weird fight.
But in that place over there where they live, there's lots of them, and they're like friendly and happy and cute.
Yeah. I mean, it's been so long since I've done that.
Yeah. If
I'm
you're
still into
watching on the
yeah.
video, or if you're checking it out on stream, you can always see that I have a Vivi and a Moogle artwork framed in the background of
Yeah.
all of my streams.
There you go. We're in Madain Sari, whatever. And Aiko is just obsessed with Pia. The first thing she's like, I want to know all about you. Tell me everything. Tell me the girls that you like. Tell me how attracted you are to me. Tell me, do you want to get married? Do you want to love me forever? And like, how are you as a person? Like, tell me about your life. They have this little
It's
heart to
like
heart.
yeah, the energy is like if this was a cartoon, and like obviously it's an animated video game, but if it was a straight up cartoon, they'd be somewhere and she would just magically like flop up onto the bed or the table and be like laying on her stomach,
Mm-hmm.
chin on her
Oh
hands, like
yeah,
kicking her legs behind her, being like, "So tell me everything about you."
yeah.
But like in a magical, physically impossible way of like
Yes,
popping into that position
yes.
and then just peppering Zidane with
And
questions.
Pia's kind of into it too, like a little, not like fully because Pia's still a little obsessed with Dagger, but like they're
And also, she's 6.
yeah, but this is not as unreciprocated as it should be.
He likes having the
Is
attention for
Yes, he
sure.
loves the attention. Everyone else kind of like f's off a little bit here. Vivi goes and has another existential crisis all alone, and then eventually Pia's gonna walk over and be like, hey, have you thought about just getting over it? Have you thought about that? And Vivi's like, no, I
Like,
mean,
what
I
if he just
haven't.
stopped thinking
Yeah.
about it and, I don't know, thought about girls?
Yeah. What if you thought about girls, 6-year-olds to be specific? You're 9. That makes way more sense than what's going on with me. Get in there, Vivi. Make a move. And Vivi's like, okay. And then if you talk to him again, Vivi's like, I'm just gonna think about it some more. And so have a good
I love
one.
him so much.
Yeah, poor Vivi is really, really going through it. Dagger also has an existential crisis here. Everyone who's not Quina is like losing their minds because we do eventually go to Quina who's like, oh, I found some yummy fish are in the water here.
Yeah,
Yummy,
Quina's
yummy.
losing their mind in like the opposite way. Everybody else is like having a crisis, and Quina's like, holy shit, good food. Finally.
Yeah.
We've been all over the world. We've gone to another continent and there was nothing to eat. And now finally I get to eat.
Yeah. I'll stay with Pia for just a second because we go to the Eidolon wall here. So there's a whole history of like Eidolons and summons and you know what the history of this town is. And there's really no one left. It's just Aiko and the Kupos. And they're like, no, you can't get in here. You have to bring Dagger, and Aiko has to let you in. Okay, they go in. Dagger has like a kind of a little moment here of like, oh, I was summoning, and I might be able to summon more. And there's so many Eidolons that I don't know the name of here. History. The real drama is happening over in the kitchen because we pan over to Aiko, who is like, okay, Pia and Dagger, they got nothing going on. Dagger doesn't realize that Pia's into her. And I'm like, yeah, she does. Like, what do you mean? No, she doesn't.
She knows, she just doesn't want it.
It's just not reciprocated. And it's like, okay, that would be better for you. Maybe you're the one that doesn't pick up on any things. And Aiko's like, they're moving so slow. Now is my chance to get between them. I'm I'm really not talking in the voice of a 6-year-old because if I did, it would be so creepy. But just, I just realized in the voice I'm doing here. And Aiko is like, I'm going to cook him a dinner. That'll get right to his heart. I'm going to make him the most delicious meal ever. And all of the Moogles are like, but you suck at cooking. What do you mean you're going to make him the most delicious meal? And she's like, hey, shut up. I don't suck at cooking. I'm going to make him some rock-fisted potato stew and barbecue fish. That's what I'm going to make him. And then he's going to fall in love with me. You just watch, you stupid Moogles, you. And they're like, but you're really bad at cooking, Aiko. Like, you have to realize this. You suck at cooking. And she's like, shut up. Go get all of the stuff I need and do all of the cooking for me. And they're like,
I love
okay.
that she like basically lives alone with Moogles and
Yeah.
is 6, but somehow has like internalized the way to a man's heart is through his stomach.
Yeah, and admittedly, she is not incorrect with this assessment. This is a very accurate representation. That being said, I don't know what rock fisted potato stew is. I am not interested. Okay, I'm not a big stew guy. Admittedly, that the way of preparing potatoes in a stew is probably the worst form of potatoes because they're just big chunks that are not crispy at all. That's a problem. And then we get to the worst part, which is the rock fisted.
Why I oughta,
What is
you
that?
better like it.
Yeah, what is the rock fisted? What is that? Does that describe the potato? Does it describe the stew? Does it describe how you have to eat the stew? Like, is the rock coming out here and putting his? What's going on? I don't know what this is. And the barbecued
There is
fish.
a great moment in this sequence. I think it's after they eat, but I'm not sure. That I took a screenshot of at the time, because Zidane goes to talk to Iko, and he says, "Is there something on my face?" Which is an iconic line from Drag Race. If you are a Drag Race fan,
Oh,
obviously this was way before Drag Race, but it made me laugh really hard, and so I have screenshotted that for posterity. Also, want to shout out that Mike Edwards has showed up in the chat and said, "What a week that you are at ACO already."
yeah,
He's
I'm not
very
even done
impressed.
yet. We're still cooking here, literally. Let him cook. Okay, so she's cooking the meal, and we kind of like help her a little bit. We assign tasks to these Muggles.
Mhm.
I don't know why. I don't know if anything that I assigned changed
It's the chef
anything.
squad.
Yeah, I was just like, hey, you go do this. I don't even know the names. Whatever.
They're
Uh,
all,
Mongoose.
Moggy, Moogie,
Yeah,
Monty,
Magoofin.
Mopey, Hickory
Whatever.
Dickory Dock.
Yeah, Hickory Dickory Moogle. Whatever. Okay, we assign them tasks, and then one of them is assigned go fish, go catch this fish for me, and just like pulling it up. He's like, oh my god, this is so hard. I can't pull up this fish. And Iko's like, okay, I'll come help you. And we pull up Quina. Quina is just in the water rooting around for fish. And we eventually find a fish, which is great. And then Quina offers advice on cooking because we know Quina is a gourmand. Let them cook. Let them cook
Yep.
is the situation. I just love this. Quina eats everything. And then also, I said this before, Quina's trance ability, cook, which I don't know what it does. It has not successfully done anything, but it's so funny to me. Just let Quina cook. I'm obsessed with that whole,
So
with
when
everything.
Quina is trancing, they can eat enemies once their HP is below 50% rather than 25%. Uh, so if Quinn is trying to eat something, the HP has to be below 25%, which is very challenging,
Oh yeah.
especially as your ability to do damage gets higher. It can be even harder to hit that target. But when they are trancing and they can cook something, then the HP just has to be below 50%.
Just let Quina chef up. Also, P is doing a lot of damage.
Uh,
A lot of damage. Quina does chef, and Quina's advice said, "This is the advice of a gourmand. Always, always, every time, no matter what, no matter when, or where, or who, or why, always cook more than you need to. Overcook. Make more food than what you need, because then you'll have more food."
then you'll have more food.
That's the
That's it.
advice
That's all there
that
is
Quina
to
gives.
it.
And Quina's like, if you cook more food, then you'll have more food. Done. Wash his hands.
That is like some 9-year-old math. So maybe Quina is 9.
I'll tell you what, it's 89-year-old math is what's happening there. And we're like, oh my god, genius. And we start pouring water for people. And I poured like 15 glasses of water because I thought it'd be funny to just pour a bunch of glasses of water. So
All the Moogles get water too.
everyone
Listen, they've
gets
been working
water.
hard. They're thirsty.
Yeah, I don't know why we were pouring water. Like it seemed so easy to just pour more water, but whatever. Okay. We pour water. We have the dinner. It goes really awkwardly because Aiko is like, "Hey, Pia, I'm obsessed with you. Do you want to love each other forever, maybe?" And Pia's like, "Hey, Dagger, what's up, wife?" And Dagger's like, "Who are you? Shut up. I'm not interested." It's a very weird. It's not a love triangle, but it's a weird situation, especially
Classic
because
rom-com stuff, though.
yeah, especially because Aiko is 6, and
Yep.
there is this point before I knew that number, because we hadn't been revealed that number yet. That number comes here where Aiko's like, our age difference isn't even that much. We don't even have that much of an age difference.
It's only twice my age.
It's only we don't even have that much of an age difference. What's the problem? Why can't we go? Why can't we do this? Why can't we do this thing? I'm 6. What? What do you mean you're 6?
Maybe
this
like
blew my mind when she just said
maybe
that with a straight face at dinner. She's like, "I love you, and I'm 6." Huh? What are you? This is ridiculous. This is predatory. This is a real problem.
Summoners measure age differently, maybe. It's like how in Final Fantasy VII, Red 13 is like 45 or something, but in like his people's years, that means he's like a teenager. This is like the inverse of that. She's like 6 in human years, maybe, but perhaps in summoner years, she's actually like 20.
Okay, but Dagger is also a summoner and does not use this age math. This very
Dagger wasn't raised with the summoners. Dagger was raised by LeBron James.
I would maybe argue that Aiko has not yet been raised. They're 6. The raising is still happening.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
Oh my god.
I don't actually believe that theory. I'm just spitballing here.
Okay, so Aiko is still.
Mike says you mature faster when you live alone.
That is true, actually. I will co-sign that. I lived alone for a little while, and it definitely did a lot maturity wise. Although I would maybe still argue that I'm not as mature as I should be. Whatever. That's a separate situation because it gets even less mature than the 6-year-old. Okay, so I thought, okay, Aiko 6, easily the most immature one here. But then Pia goes out and is like, "Hey, Vivi, I know you're still really depressed about everything. I mean, there's been a lot going on. People have been trying to capture you. You might be coming from evil, a lineage, a weird situation. You know what would help? If you and I looked up at these stars and just relieved ourselves. And then we pan away to Aiko, who is listening into this conversation, who's like, "Man, I love this man. I am obsessed with this man."
The wisdom of age of being 16.
Fawning over this man. And meanwhile, Pia is like, "Tinkle, tinkle, 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 tinkle." And Vivi's like, "Oh yeah, this is great. I'm 9. You're 16. This is so good." And we pan back over to Aiko, who's like, "I must have him. I must have him."
Ran in the chat said P.
Really puts the P in Pia. That is for sure true. Okay. This is just wild to me. We then find out, we're just skipping past a lot of that because whatever. We then find out, also because we're so over in time and I'm still not even done yet.
Hey, we got time. People are getting a bonus. You know, it's a holiday-sized helping of the Final Fantasy podcast.
Yeah, because who knows even when we'll be here next. Okay, so the final thing that happens here, the final thing that I got to is we're going to this tree, this Ifa tree, the sanctuary. And then Aiko's like, "Yeah, we guarded the sanctuary by trapping an Eidolon with another Eidolon. Eidolon Lon.
Mm-hmm.
Situation.
Eidolon on, yeah.
And so she's like, "I can undo it. I'm gonna come with you. And only only like 99% because I am desperately in love with you, Pia. That's only most of why I'm coming, but also because I'm the only one that can do this. Cool. We're going. Also, at the tree, as we leave and enter the tree area, there's mist. And they're like, oh, this must be where the mist is coming from. I'm like, what a wild assumption that is. Like, what do you mean that's where all the mist is coming from? This area just happens to have mist where others don't. Why would this be the genesis of all of the mist? Whatever. Probably a Genesis clone is what it is. And we enter the
A
tree.
deep cut for longtime listeners of the podcast.
Oh, look,
We're not going to explain it. We're just going to keep going.
No, we're just going to keep going. They didn't explain the Genesis clones. Why do I have to? Anyway, we're entering the tree area, and Aiko is like, I got this. And then does some wild stuff and is like, boom, 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 got that boom, 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 got the boom, boom, boom. And is like, I did it. I did the thing. Oh, Eidolon. She literally says boom, boom, boom. I wrote it down word for word because I was like, this is ridiculous.
This is what you all are missing out on every week. Like, Adam is not putting on extra for the video. I'm always sitting here just like laughing my face off while antics are happening. So I'm glad we get to share it all with you this week.
And we enter the tree. We peeled the seal of the IFA tree, and I did like travel along the tree and got to a Moogle and saved the game. And that is where I ended for this session. I would say I played a lot of game.
You did
in this little session here. 3 pages of notes, like 6 different locations that we went to multiple times I mean, we made some serious work. Now, what we're going to find in the sanctuary, maybe Kuja. Are we going to get Kuja? Are we going to get the source of the mist? Are we going to get the Aiko and Pia love story? I hope not. I hope we're kind of done with that. Where's Quina? Who knows? Who knows where Quina is?
Eating the extra food that was cooked.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean that's what I got this time. I'm liking Final Fantasy IX, Zed. I'm
so glad.
Having a good time. This is a fun one. It's always easier to talk about the story in the game when I'm actually enjoying it, which is huge. But yeah, there we go. Who knows? And with holidays coming up and travel, whatever, we'll see when we're able to get through more. But this was a fun little excursion through the outer continent is where we went. We went to the outer continent.
That we did. Shall we a look for Aiko?
Yeah, yeah. Let's do the 6-year-old.
Okay, I think I can even share my screen here in the video.
Oh, that would be huge, yeah. Because then everyone watching along at twitch.tv/hardrock.
Oh, look at that. There she is.
Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, Zed, we have to start at the bow. That is,
we're going to talk about the whole thing. I am going to switch us to a different picture. Because this picture makes it look like she is wearing something that is a turtleneck and sleeves, and then like a fully crotchless, frontless overalls.
Yeah, well, it fits with her character and the level
she
of
is just out.
The level of desperation
fully out
she has.
And because she's 6, I don't feel okay about it. So we're gonna come over here to a different picture that looks more like the game graphic, and where the whole outfit is the same color, so she doesn't look naked in precisely the crotch area.
Yes. Which I think, just to clarify, I don't think she is naked in the crotch area.
Definitely not. The color on that photo is just really unfortunate.
It's very important that we distinguish those types of situations there. Okay. See, that's not a 6-year-old.
Like.
No,
no, and she doesn't even have purple hair. What is that picture? We're going back to this one.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. The bow. We have to start with the bow. It's a huge bow. I love the bow. The bow definitely gives I am 6 and I was dressed by like a millennial parent. That's like the bow situation here, which I do like. Does the color fit with the purple hair?
Yeah. Aren't yellow
Mm,
and purple like opposite each other on the color wheel?
I don't. I mean, I don't know what. I don't. I don't know the color wheel.
Well,
I
maybe yellow and blue, but anyway.
Yeah, I don't think yellow and purple are going together, because even the yellow of her out, also like the yellow of the bow is different than the yellow of her outfit, which I think is probably the biggest problem that's happening here. I don't think that anyone alive, six or otherwise, can pull off two shades of yellow in one
Yeah.
outfit.
This could also be the render, it's a little hard to say. Are they the same in this? They're
No,
closer to the same in the
no,
picture
I
where
think
she
they're
looks naked.
I think they're almost further. Look at the yellow on top is like is a lighter, kind of more faded, whereas the yellow
Well,
of her outfit
maybe
is giving
that's
Curious
because
George. Like,
maybe they started out the same color, but the bow is on the top of her head, so it gets exposed to the light more. It's like how if you have longer hair, which you wouldn't know, the hair on the top of your head gets more sunlight and might fade more than like the underside of your hair, which will stay darker.
is that why it's a darker purple on the underside of your hair than it is on the top?
Hmm.
We have purple hair here as well. I do like that. I don't like the style though. That's the problem for me.
The bob.
I like the color. The style is tough. Really tough. The yellow, like the outfit here is like fine. The
And
pants
she's got her
are,
little horn
yeah, there is a horn.
sticking
They
out of
talk
her
about the
hair.
horn. She talks about the horn a lot, and I didn't want to make too many horny jokes here, but like, it
'Cause
writes
she's
it.
6.
It writes itself, really,
Yeah.
is the situation. Very baggy pants, but also like a very tight top, so kind of a weird little situation there. The boots don't look like boots. They sort of look like bags that are loosely tied at the top and just happen to be around her feet.
They are very slouchy, like almost pirate boots, but like if you tried really poorly to make them at home with boots that are not actually supposed to be pirate boots.
Yeah. And then I believe she's holding a little stick here of some kind. I don't know what that is. I
Yeah,
don't
her
think I saw her
weapons are
holding it.
flutes.
Yeah, that's a weird looking flute, but I forgot what it looked like, the one that she was holding when I first saw her, but I didn't hate it. So I think it's cool that they're flutes, but
If
yeah.
she doesn't have it now, she will have it soon, I think. One that literally looks like a tree branch that has
Oh,
like little leaves sticking off of it.
maybe we get that at the IFA tree. Who knows?
Maybe.
Yeah. So there you go. That's Aiko, the again 6-year-old,
Uh-huh.
six,
Wearing
fawning
like
over
with the
Pia
orange jumpsuit under, yellow
yeah,
overalls with no front.
with no front. There's just a big hole cut
It's
out
really
there.
confusing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's well, when you're the last of your kind, I guess who is there to help you dress yourself?
Yeah. It is very outside of the realm of the kind of like Renaissance era clothes that everybody else is wearing. But that's also true for Dagger, who we've still
Yeah.
managed to not do on Issa Look yet. But she is also wearing like an orange jumpsuit with like buckles around the legs that don't really make any sense. Maybe we'll talk about her next time. Maybe we'll finally get there.
We'll see.
Yeah. So that's what we have today. Adam, you got anything else you want to share? Any final thoughts? Aiko's last name is Carol, by the way.
Oh,
Just
okay.
Carol.
Carol. Okay, pop off, Aiko Carol. I guess. Why not?
Not quite on the level of Zidane Tribal or Adalbert Steiner or whatever
Oh,
his first name
Steiner.
is.
We need to get back to Steiner. I need to see the Steiner, Beatrix, Freya of it all back in Alexandria. We've
Mhm.
got to get back there. I need more Steiner in my life.
We will get back to Steiner. All right. Any final thoughts? Or are we ready to head to Plugtown?
Let's is Plugtown in the outer continent? Do we have to what way to
I think
Plugtown?
with the outer continent, like the outer edges of the podcast.
Yeah, let's get out of here. We've certainly taken up enough of people's time. If you're still here after like an hour and a half, we appreciate you.
Very much so. You want to do your plugs, Adam?
Yeah. I guess I could. Yeah, I guess I could. I don't know. I'm tired. It's been a long day. Anyway, You can oh my god, you can find me on Twitter, pianomanadam1. You can also find me every week at One Indescribable Podcast. That's One CXG Podcast on Twitter. We're talking about Girls 5 Eva. Very exciting stuff happening over there. In the post show recaps room, I'm talking Doctor Who with Kevin and Melissa. We got the specials coming up, which is very, very exciting. And then I'm also talking Monarch Legacy of Monsters with Todd the Librarian, the new Godzilla show that is just started coming out as well on Apple TV Plus. So go check that out as well. That's it for me. That's all I'm doing right now.
How is Monarch? How is Apple TV Plus treating you?
It's better. It's like way better than I thought it was going to be. I kind of like expected it to be like this is like a weird little monster show. It's actually like more interesting and compelling than I thought it was going to be, but it's mainly because I like the drama, like teen drama kind of story with like a little bit of a mystery element of it, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
like the monster stuff, and it's been all of the former and like almost none of the latter. So like this is
Got
a
it.
deal for me.
Nice.
No sci-fi, only sappy drama and teen mystery. Like that's all I want really in this life.
Great. You'll love to see it. Well, you can find this video at twitch.tv/hardrockhope, where you can find me streaming now Final Fantasy VII. We have finished Final Fantasy 12, and we are back in our happy home territory of Final Fantasy VII. I'm also playing the Super Mario RPG, which just came out on Saturday. We've streamed that a couple times. That's been really fun. Great hangout game. And we are still continuing with The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Lots of stuff going on. I'm unemployed. I'm streaming a lot these days. So if you need some entertainment, someone to keep you company while you're cooking, while you're cleaning, whatever you're doing, I am happy to keep you company at twitch.tv/hardrockhope. Other than that, not too much else going on right now. I will shortly be covering The Artful Dodger, streaming on Hulu and or Disney Plus. Unclear which. It depends on the country you're in. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to watch it yet. We'll find out. But I will be covering The Artful Dodger with Sarah Carradine. That show starts next week. So keep an eye out for that coverage coming to you on post-show recaps. And don't forget, as always, you can like and subscribe, postshowrecaps.com/patron, patreon.com/postshowrecaps to support the podcast. And find me on YouTube for this and many more videos at youtube.com/@hardrockhope. Thank you all for hanging out. I hope to see you on Twitch soon as we enter our third year of streaming. Absolutely unbelievable. I have to thank Josh, of course, for sending me down this path that I never expected to be on. And I appreciate you all so much for being here along the way. I will see you all on Twitch again real soon, and we will catch you all on the podcast hopefully next week. But if we take a week off, we'll let you know and see you shortly after that. So have a great holiday week if you are doing holiday things, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.